Let me be blunt. Your life is exactly what you tolerate. Broke, you tolerated it. Unhappy, you settled. Standards, low as hell. You don't get what you want in life, you get what your standards demand. So if you're tired of crumbs, it's time to raise the bar or get out of the game. If you're stuck in mediocrity, it's because your standards are kissing the floor. Want a better life? It starts with expecting and demanding MOMR from yourself. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to raise your standards so high that life has no choice but to deliver everything you've ever wanted. Buckle up. Stop negotiating with yourself. Every time you open that mental dialogue about whether or not to do something hard, you've already lost. Winners don't wait for motivation, they act with discipline. They don't need to feel good to do what needs to be done. They decide once and then they show up day in and day out, no matter what. No internal bargaining, no mental gymnastics, just execution. That's the difference between the people who get what they want in life and the ones who stay stuck in a loop of potential. Potential doesn't mean a damn thing if it's never realized. When you say, I'll do it later, what you're really saying is, it's not important. You're signaling to yourself and the universe that your goals are optional, that your standards are flexible, and guess what? The universe listens. Life doesn't reward you for intentions, it rewards action. High performers, they eliminate the decision-making process entirely. They wake up and execute like soldiers, not because it's easy, not because it's fun, but because their mission is non-negotiable. They don't allow their feelings to dictate their future. They understand that their destiny is tied to what they do when no one's watching, when it's boring, when it's hard, when it's inconvenient. The people who rise to the top aren't superhuman. They're just sick and tired of living at 60% when they know they're capable of 100. They raise their standards so high that anything less than full commitment feels like failure. They don't give themselves the back door of maybe tomorrow. They've locked that door, thrown away the key, and burned the whole house down behind them. They don't have time to argue with their lazy self because they've trained their mind to obey. And that's the key. You have to train your mind like a dog. It doesn't get a say. It gets told what to do. The moment you stop negotiating, you become dangerous. If you want everything you say you want, the dream life, the freedom, the wealth, the body, the respect, you have to act like someone who deserves it, not someone who hopes for it, not someone who wishes things would magically improve. You want the life most people never touch? Then stop acting like most people. Most people procrastinate. Most people make excuses. Most people negotiate with themselves every damn day, and that's why most people live and die in mediocrity. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being relentless. You might not win every day, but you better fight like hell to win most of them. Every time you follow through, especially when it's hard, you reinforce the identity of someone who follows through. Someone who doesn't break promises to themselves. And that's the only way to earn self-respect. No more later, no more if I feel like it. Decide, commit, execute, daily, or stay exactly where you are. The choice is yours, but time is not on your side. Cut the dead weight. You can't soar to greatness while dragging people, habits, and mindsets that were built for survival, not success. The truth is brutal. But I don't care about your feelings. I care about your future, and your future is suffocating under the weight of mediocrity you refuse to drop. You think loyalty to dead relationships, lazy routines, and toxic environments is noble? No. It's self-sabotage dressed up as kindness. You're not climbing because you're chained to anchors, and you're the one who forged the chains. Your friends, your habits, your routines, if they don't serve your mission, cut them. Ruthlessly. Not someday, not after a conversation, now, today. That friend who says, just relax when you're grinding toward a goal, cut. That daily binge of garbage TV that rots your brain and steals your time, cut. That habit of sleeping in, skipping the gym, or making excuses, kill it. Not with compassion, with violence. Mental violence. You're not being cruel, you're being committed. There's a massive difference between being cold-hearted and being focused. Most people confuse the two because they've never seen commitment at that level. The world is run by those willing to offend the weak to build the strong. So offend the weak, including the weak parts of yourself. Look around. Who are you surrounded by? What kind of conversations are you having? Are they sharpening your edge or dulling your blade? Show me your standards and I'll show you your circle. If everyone around you accepts average, you will too. If everyone skips workouts, makes excuses, and hates Monday, guess what? You're next. You're not the exception. You're the product of your environment. So change the environment. Average people hate high standards. That's why they stay average. They resent your ambition because it exposes their lack of it. They'll try to pull you down with guilt, shame, and cheap shots disguised as concern. You've changed. Damn right you changed. You evolved, you elevated, and they stayed stuck. Don't feel bad for outgrowing people who had the chance to grow with you but chose comfort instead. This isn't personal. This is business. The business of becoming who the hell you were born to be. And here's the real test. Can you walk alone until you attract a new tribe? Because when you raise your standards, you will lose people. It will be lonely. It will be quiet. But in that silence, you'll hear your greatness whispering, finally. So walk alone if you must. The right people will catch up. The right habits will replace the old ones. The right routines will empower you instead of drain you. But none of it starts until you get honest about what needs to go. Burn the bridges that lead back to mediocrity. There is no return flight to average. You don't cut the dead weight for fun. You do it because your destiny depends on it. Are you willing to do what most won't, to live how most can't? Then cut the damn dead weight. And don't look back. Don't expect 10/10 results with 3/10 effort. That's not ambition, that's delusion. You want the mansion, the millions, the legacy? You want to command respect, dominate your field, walk into any room like you own it? Then look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you operating at excellence or just existing in excuses? Raise the bar on yourself before you ever expect the world to rise for you. No one owes you anything, and the marketplace doesn't care about your dreams. It rewards execution, discipline, and results. You've been brainwashed by mediocrity. Society told you that showing up is enough, that trying hard is admirable, that you deserve a trophy for effort. Nonsense. Life doesn't reward participation, it rewards performance. You want more? Then be more. Wake up earlier than your competitors. Get out of bed before your alarm. Make excellence your default setting, not something you turn on when it's convenient. Champions don't train when they feel like it. They train when it's raining, when it's hard, when it's lonely. Because their standards aren't based on emotions, they're built on commitment. Excellence is a lifestyle. It's how you speak, how you think, how you show up when no one's watching. It's doing the work that others skip. It's making the calls, writing the emails, reading the books, taking the hits, and still showing up with intensity. And let's be clear, excellence doesn't mean perfection. It means giving your absolute best every single time. It means refusing to tolerate your own laziness. It means rejecting average as an insult. Most people coast. They do just enough not to get fired, not to fail, not to fall apart. And they wonder why they're stuck. You're not most people. You're here because deep down you know you were built for more, and that more begins with what you demand from yourself. You want your team to step up? Then lead like a savage. You want your family to level up? Then set the damn example. You want respect? Then earn it by outworking everyone. Excellence isn't earned in the spotlight. It's earned in the shadows. It's built at 5 a.m. when no one's watching. It's built in the grind, in the silence, in the repetition. If you can't hold the standard alone, you don't deserve the results in public. Everyone wants the reward. Few are willing to pay the price. You've got to be the one who chooses to pay gladly, because that's what it takes. This is your wake-up call. Raise your expectations. Demand more from yourself than anyone else ever will. Be the hardest worker in every room. Let your work ethic embarrass the lazy. Let your standards scare the average. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standards. So raise them. Ruthlessly, relentlessly. Because excellence isn't a choice anymore. It's a requirement. Make pain your partner. That's not a metaphor. It's a damn life strategy. The problem with most people is they spend their entire lives running from pain, hiding from discomfort, ducking from the hard conversations, the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices. And then they wonder why they're stuck, broke, miserable, living a life they didn't sign up for. Wake up. Comfort zones are nothing but invisible prisons. They keep you safe, yes, but they also keep you small. And no one ever built an empire playing it safe. Think greatness comes without pain? Look at the elite in any field. Athletes, CEOs, military leaders, they all have one thing in common. They are intimate with pain. Not because they enjoy it, but because they understand its value. Pain is the currency. It's the tuition you pay for the results you say you want. You want that body, that income, that relationship, that legacy? It will cost you. And the price? Pain. The pain of saying no when everyone else says yes. The pain of pushing through when your body's screaming, stop. The pain of walking away from comfort, from mediocrity, from the crowd that wants to drag you back down. But here's the truth. Pain doesn't break you, it builds you. Every time you endure, you grow stronger. Every time you face it head on, instead of backing down, you raise your threshold. Eventually, discomfort becomes your new normal. What once scared you becomes your starting point. And that's where the transformation begins. Not in the victories, but in the grind before them. That's where standards get raised. Not in success, but in the suffering that precedes it. People ask, how do I stay motivated? Wrong question. Motivation is for amateurs. Professionals don't need motivation. They have standards. They've made pain their ally, not their enemy. They've programmed their minds to understand that every rep, every rejection, every failure is part of the process. It's not punishment, it's preparation. You don't have to love pain, but you must learn to respect it. Because if you avoid the pain of discipline, you will absolutely feel the pain of regret. And let me tell you, regret is louder, longer, and far more brutal. You've got two choices. Stay where it's safe and wonder what if for the rest of your life, or embrace the suffering required to chase down what's yours. The universe doesn't reward comfort. It rewards commitment. The champions, the high performers, the real killers out there, they're not superhuman. They've just chosen their pain. They've decided that temporary suffering is worth the permanent rewards. They've made pain their training partner, not their excuse. So stop asking for easy. Stop hoping for shortcuts. Start conditioning your mind to seek the edge, because that edge is where growth lives. Raise your standards so high that anything less than pain-fueled progress feels like betrayal. Choose your pain wisely and choose it daily. Because the only thing worse than the pain of hard work is the pain of never becoming who you were meant to be. Set non-negotiables, not goals, not wishes, not I'll try. I'm talking about absolutes, standards so sharp, so unshakable, they become law in your life. That means no gray area, no debate, no emotion-driven compromise. It's either yes or hell no. You think high achievers wake up and wonder, should I show up today? No. They show up because it's who they are. It's automatic. It's coded into their identity. That's what non-negotiables do. They hardwire greatness into your daily operating system. Let me break this down for you. Saying, I'll try to work out is a guaranteed failure. Try is a coward's word. You either do or you don't. Winners don't try, they commit. They build a life around what must be done. I don't skip workouts isn't a hopeful affirmation. It's a personal commandment. You might be tired, you might be sore, you might be on vacation. It doesn't matter. The standard doesn't move just because your feelings do. That's the difference between average people and elite performers, non-negotiables. The average treat their standards like suggestions. The elite treat them like oxygen. And let's be real, non-negotiables aren't about motivation. They're about identity. If you identify as someone who doesn't settle, then settling is impossible. You've already burned that bridge. When you say, I don't lie to myself, that means no more pretending, no more excuses, no more coddling your weakness. If you skip the gym, you own it. If you procrastinate, you admit it. No hiding, no masks. Because self-honesty is a non-negotiable. And until you stop lying to yourself, you'll never have the clarity to change anything. When you declare, I don't settle for average, it's not a cute phrase, it's a war cry. It means you walk away from mediocrity in relationships, in business, in habits. You don't tolerate weak energy, weak people, or weak results. You stop making room for things that don't serve your mission. And when you hold that standard long enough, guess what happens? The universe gets the message. The people around you get the message. Your brain gets the message. Your life starts to shape around your standards. But it all begins with you drawing that line in the sand. And here's the truth most people are afraid to admit. You've already got non-negotiables. You just don't realize it. If you tolerate lateness, that's non-negotiable. If you let yourself skip commitments, that's a non-negotiable too. It just works against you. So the question isn't, do I have standards? The question is, do my standards serve the life I want? You want a different life? Then set different laws. Not for someday, today. Flip the switch. Declare who you are and what you no longer tolerate. And once that line is drawn, never step over it again. That's when transformation begins. Listen, standards aren't sexy, but they build empires. You want a 1% life? Then stop living with 99% effort. Burn the excuses, raise the bar, and execute like your legacy depends on it. Because it does. Subscribe now and start demanding more from you. The world doesn't give you what you deserve, it gives you what you're willing to demand.